So, how do we want to do this? This is going to be home fleet. And this is going to be a big fleet. So we're going to make you like 10 dreads. Fast battleship. 5. Actually, no, we're not going to have fast battleships in this fleet. We will have a carrier. No, 2 carriers. This UI has improved dramatically since I used it last. We don't necessarily need cruisers. So maybe 5 cruisers. And then a lot of destroyers. Now, if I remember correctly, it's supposed to be 8 destroyers per capital. I don't think these carriers count as capital, so technically it's just these that we need to protect. So that's 80 destroyers. One of the reasons we need to churn out destroyers like there's no tomorrow. So that's the home fleet. And then we're going to need 1 fast battleship. And you are going to have 5 fast battleships. And this is force projection. And I think we'll have like 3 of these. It's going to have 1 carrier. It's going to have 8 cruisers. And then 40 destroyers. Something like that. And it instantly selects the ships to do that. So I think we can do another... Oh, did I save that template? I really hope I saved that template. I probably didn't save that template. I need another fast battleship. I didn't. That's fine. We can go here, that. Force projection. Save. And then you are going to be another force projection fleet. And now we have 40 ships left. We still have a bunch of dreadnoughts. So I think we might make a fleet which is similar to the home fleet, but smaller. Or we could just leave them as reserves. That's a lot of dreadnoughts. There you go. We don't have heavy carriers, we only have the light ones. Not enough dreadnoughts. Never enough dreadnoughts. Or we could just do a second fleet. You know what? Sod it. Let's just go for a second home fleet. Go big or go home. I didn't mean to do that. I meant to grab a dreadnought, split you out, put you in there, then turn you into a... no. Home fleet. There we go. But this home fleet is missing a lot of ships. For example, the 2 cruisers... Sorry, missing 3 cruisers, 2 carriers, and a bunch of destroyers. And we'll also need to change their iconography and also their commanders. More big ships with big guns never hurt anyone, except those with little guns. NW Scooter, thank you very much for the follow. Welcome to the channel. Put the second fleet in the Pacific, you can't trust the Japanese. Well, the Japanese... So one of the things which I do like about this mod is there are a couple of nations which I call wild cards. So you've got Austria, Russia, Japan, and then a couple of others like maybe Brazil, princely states. Those are countries which are pretty much neutral but do generally join the war on one side or another. So what they do depends a lot on their political choices as they go through the focus tree. I really like that because it can really shift the balance of power one way or the other. It's kind of a nice system. So it's possible that Japan's going to be on our side. It's possible that Japan will join the Entente. The Entente are the old powers, so the Dominion of Canada and the French Republic, that's the Entente. We're the Reichspakt. And then we've got the Third International, which is the Union of Britain and Commune of France. Yeah, we'll just churn out more of those. Didn't select who my admirals would be, and also we need to start training our ships, which is going to use up a bunch of fuel, but I want that experience so I can get sonar. Who do we want as the admiral? I mean, Eric Raeder would make the most sense. Capital ship armor would go up. That's going to be really good for the big home fleets with the dreadnoughts. So I think the force projection in the dreadnoughts should actually be in two separate fleets. Let's colour you lot. Yellow's fine actually. Reserves. I'm going to do orange. And then submarines are going to be red. And they've already got the submarine icon, so that's fine. So you lot of force projection. So are you. And these icons... It's going to be a sailing boat. Let's click on there. Sailing boat. There we are. Purple's fine. Actually, no, this is going to be in purple because this is Imperial. These are the Imperial ships. And these are the colonial ships, so we'll make them dark blue. Okay. Raider is going to be in charge of the home fleets. The other thing I need are recon fleets. I don't have any of those. We just have the ship hunting fleets at the moment. It's fine. And then the force projection fleets going to be commanded by Bohm, perhaps. I don't really want an old guard. Carl's is not going to be a great one for you. Souchon, maybe. Unfortunately, you're old guard. I think Bohm. Bohm has a really good mix of stats, actually. There we are. Admirals have been assigned. Right. Let's actually forward some time, shall we? Too much of this sitting around trying to make decisions. The Dominion of Canada sounds so sinister. It's true. Edward VIII has been crowned as King of Britain. George V, the last king of Great Britain and Ireland to have ruled the home isles themselves, has passed while in exile in Canada. The first Windsor king, his reign shall be remembered with sorrow and sadness, as during it Britain lost both the Welsh Creek and its homeland. The crown was inherited by Edward, Prince of Wales, who now stylises himself as Edward VIII. King Edward is a vengeful and ambitious man, and not on good terms with the Prime Minister Mackenzie King. He lives on the goal of avenging his father and reconquering the British Isles, and is thus quite popular with the British exiles in Canada, among others. I never started to drill. I'm going to start the home fleet drilling first. And that uses up a lot of oil. But I don't really care if we run out. It's just going to reduce their efficiency somewhat. But this does suggest that when war breaks out, we're not going to have enough oil to support our war effort. Now, where does my oil come from? We're actually importing a bunch. Don't do that. Not worth it at this stage. Okay, so Azerbaijan gives us 118 oil. Otherwise, we have basically no oil reserves whatsoever. So currently we get oil rights from here. So I'm going to keep buying from them just to keep them sweet. See if that makes any difference. I have no idea if it does. This is one of the new things. Newfangled things. Payment to the Brest-Litovsk reparations. With the stagnation of our economy and the worsening conditions of our citizens during 1935... was not paused. Our government has decided that in order to restart our economy we need additional cash. Only available option to amass sufficient capital to help our economy was to force the Russian state to prematurely repay the remaining reparations from the Treaty of Brest-Litovsk. During the Berlin Conference of November 1935, President Alexander Kerensky, together with Prime Minister Pavel Mikhailov, were forced to accept the premature repayment to the Brest-Litovsk reparations. With drastic austerity measures, the Russian government was able to prematurely repay the remaining parts of the reparations, as they were agreed in the... Wow, you've just repeated the same thing 3 times. That could have been like a third of its size. Yeah, it really does look like we're going to have to invest in synthetic oils. Okay, so you two have built everything you can. We are now going to switch to convoy production, because those are cheap. And we also have enough navy experience now to upgrade my destroyers and equip them with sonar. And this is going to be the chase, as I promised earlier. There are no naming lists for this. I mean, we could get rid of the torpedoes. I'm not really expecting you to do any damage. Don't think I want to increase your cost either. So, we have the chase class, which we can now start building. And we can start to refit our destroyers accordingly. How do I select all? I'm pretty sure there's a way of doing this. Those are all into war A's. I mean, actually, we can also upgrade these to have sonar. I guess those were all old model destroyers. We need to do the same here with these ones. What's the difference between these? You have... Right, you have depth charge. Hang on. I've made a bit of a boo-boo here. I've equipped them with sonar, but no depth charges. You may officially call me a moron. Whoops. Need to wait until we get a little bit more naval experience before we can do that. I'm glad I looked at that now. I was like, yeah, we got sonar. We're going to detect all the ships. And it would just be like, it's a submarine over there. Okay, shoot at it. We can't. We have nothing which actually, like, throws into the water. We have no charges which, you know, fall into the depths. A depth charge, if you will. Profits from the legation cities following the 1926 German intervention in China, the Treaty of Nanjing, signed in November that year. Foreign trade was left to the richest cities of the coast under the joint control of the world powers owning interests in China. The independence of this consortium of cities was guaranteed by the Eight Powers: Australasia, Austria, Canada, Germany, Japan and the French Republic, Russia and the USA. Foreign investments in the legation cities themselves flourished not only through foreign trade, but also thanks to the smuggling in the Allgemeine Ostasiengesellschaft and the Qing imperial territories. Over a decade later, our investment in the legation cities is still paying dividends. Ka-ching. Afghanistan and the Dominion of India fighting. And we finished State of the Economy. After the Weltkrieg, as the British Raj collapsed into turmoil and warfare, the neighbouring Kingdom of Afghanistan took advantage of this as an opportunity to seize Peshawar and Quetta, both border regions of the Dominion. However, the Afghani government's attempts to modernise over the last decades have been met with fierce resistance from the conservative elements within the country. King Amanullah Khan now hopes to use the turmoil in Delhi following the death of George V to his advantage. By repeating the success of the Fourth Anglo-Afghan War, the king hopes to silence the conservative opposition and bring new lands to the crown. However, international exports do not put many hopes in the tiny mountain nation winning this conflict. Black Monday. On the 3rd of February 1936, the Berlin Stock Exchange stopped sinking. It plunged. Fueled by the instability of the market's panic, selling erupted as soon as the stock market opened on Monday morning. It took well into the night for the teleprinters to stop sputtering out the results of what became known as Black Monday. When the results had been analysed, it was clear that the situation had only got worse. The shock of this unprecedented economic catastrophe will no doubt be felt throughout the entire world. The German Golden Age has ended. For now, at least. So we've now got Black Monday, which reduces or increases consumer goods factory requirement by 20%, reduces stability by 25%, production efficiency by 20%, production efficiency growth by 20%, factory output by 60%, resources to market by 40%, and also reduces our base stability by 25%. And we lose the large legation city dividends. What was that, actually? +5 factory output, Brest-Litovsk scores a -10% consumer goods. I mean, that's a really good one to have, even though it's only going to last us a year. My God! And we can choose which focus we want. This one needs to wait until Black Week has ended, so I think we can wait the 7 days for that. Or we could start on, like, subsidies for Siemens, but I don't think we really want to begin on this just yet. Oh, Hesse can have one additional infrastructure. Interesting. I think we're just going to save up until the end of the week. And Hesse. Let me just double check I'm not building anything in Hesse. I'm not. We can do that, just so I know. And we can modify the government. We can get a new head of military intelligence. Oh, they've made the ministers way cheaper. Who's in power at the moment? Authoritarian Democrats. Probably will remain that way. So, who's off dem? Here we are. Karl von Schubert. Decryption, supply consumption, research speed decryption, political power gain. I mean, right now, political power gain would be really useful. Hans Oster or Heinrich Albert. I mean, decryption is also very nice. We're going to go with Heinrich Albert because of the fancy mustache. Oh, actually, we'll hold off. Also, I never actually looked through the decisions that we have available. Legislate freedoms. Cost political power. Increases stability for 180 days. Police crackdown increases stability for 180 days by more. No, by less. Improve worker conditions is also a stability. Send in the army. Must be paternal autocrat, national populist, or a totalist. Public support. Increases party popularity and solidify control. Also increases party popularity, and actually with this we are gaining political power gain plus 0.45. I think that the maximum we get is 0.1 bonus. We'll hold off just in case we need the political power for anything else during Black Monday. Also, are we actually producing anything? Actually, our industrial output's still not terrible. It's just going to be very slow. Although actually there was no reduction to construction speed. Financial troubles in the colonies. Rising inflation and the consequently debased mark means the state expenses on German colonies have become too great to maintain pre-Black Monday tax codes. Some maverick politicians propose raising taxes, but raising taxes on German nationals just to aid German colonials would obviously not be popular, especially not under the present economic situation. Most of the Reichstag merely proposes limited financial support for our colonial possessions. What shall we do? Raise taxes, we lose political power, we lose stability. Spare expenses only for colonies under the direct control. Or tighten our belts and need to find other sources of income. I'm going to raise taxes to appease the needs of the colonies. Like, we're going to be reliant on those. Short-term pain. Run on the banks. German citizens, panicked by the collapse of the German stock market, are rushing to make bank runs to withdraw their assets. The banks cannot afford to give out such sums, and many are in danger of collapse. Many are clamouring for immediate government intervention to stabilise this unprecedented financial crisis. So we can close them temporarily. What is my base stability at this point? Not good. I wonder if stability goes low enough if we're actually going to see a German civil war. So we can close them temporarily, which loses us a lot of stability. We can guarantee the holdings of private individuals, which is a smaller... No, more political power down, but smaller base stability loss. And we also lose some consumer goods for 50 days. We're going to guarantee... Not going to protect the companies, but we'll protect the individuals. Electoral gridlock in France. The Commune of France is the world's leading syndicalist nation, united as a federation of city communes and directed by the Comité de Salut Public, the chief executive. Ever since its inception, however, the Second Commune was not uniform in its policy. Numerous factions arose, each one with their own idea of which path France should take. As the time for revenge against Germany in the World Revolution closes in, the CGT election of 1936 is set to be very important. It was so important, in fact, that none of the four factions could acquire a majority. Much like before the election, the coalition must be found. But how will this change the shape of the Commune's policies? Only the men at the CSP itself know. Ships. I was going to refit my ships, which I can now afford. And give you anti-sub warfare level 1. And then you guys are going to need the same thing, but we will come back to that. These are all S111s. Okay. Right, I'd forgotten that we were actually going to need to invest in these. That's fine. Short-term pain, long-term gain. Just need to fact, let's do a save here because we haven't saved for a while. And this always seems to take a while and panics me every time. There it is. And also, I just need to clear these. Okay. You know what? The other thing I need to do is sort out where my armies are going to be deployed. Because I'm getting a little bit more nervous now that we're in such an economic catastrophe mode. The situation hardly improved in the days following Black Monday, which was the start of what became known as the Black Week. Panic selling of stocks reached an all-time high as people tried to dump their stocks before they became worthless. When the Berlin stock market closes at the end of the week, the market was dead, as the 11 major economic experts and top executives in Germany had committed suicide. The German government had to act. With a devastating economic situation, many families struggle to earn their daily bread, and the social security net is strained to breaking point. In recent weeks, the streets of many German cities have been increasingly terrorized by gangs of teenagers. These Halbstarker steal products from the markets and shops and often money from innocent pedestrians or commit acts of vandalism to escape boredom and frustration. Few citizens feel safe on the streets anymore, and it's clear that some in the government might see merely as low-level civic disorder instead has the makings of total societal breakdown. Flipping hell. We're in trouble. Alright, let's send in the army. Clearly that's the thing that we needed to learn from this catastrophe is when in doubt, send in the troops. We've got a fairly good motorized, mechanized, speedy bit. And then I think we're going to have a separate one which is going to be our guards. Oh, before we do this, actually, we should break down... Yeah, because we have multiple different division types, so our infantry divisions are going to be... Actually, let's see what they are. You guys have artillery, so you're going to be the Kapowie. You guys are my favorite division unit. Infantry Division mit Panzerunterstützung. AKA dudes with tanks. Then the Guard Infantry are my defensive units. And then the Auslandsfestung Companies are the colonials. And that's all of them that need special icons. And then my regular infantry are going to be... I don't know. Cross swords? Tropical holiday makers? Vampires? Paradox? I think I'm just going to leave them as the standard icon. At least now I can split them up a little bit better. So the guard units are going to be on their own division. Because they are quite a lot more experienced. Whoops, did not mean to do that. Actually, eventually all of you are going to need to be under command of that dude anyway. You, and you. You. New unit. Oh, we have a couple of units with tanks. By a couple, I mean we actually have quite a few. We're going to add you to the elites. So you're my rapid response where needed.
Angetreten.